So what the heck happened with the stock market today? What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. I hope that you guys are all having an amazing Tuesday and a pretty wild series of events. So let's go ahead and first talk about Tesla. So for those that didn't tune on into our live stream, Tesla did report earnings and Tesla reported terrible earnings. I don't want to hear any excuses, any scapegoats, any reasons on how you justify it. Tesla reported terrible earnings. For those that did not see the news, Tesla, when it came out with its actual earnings, what it reported, 27 cents per share versus expectation of 42 cents. That's a 35% miss. And revenue was 19.3 billion versus the forecast of 21.4 billion, nearly a 10% miss. This is showing that from this year, April 21st, 2025 to April 22nd, 2024, year over year, we are actually not growing as a company. You might be like, well, Ricky, it's not really that big of a deal. Who cares? It's not growing year over year. This is one of the Magnificent Seven, right? This is at one point was a $1 trillion company. And people love to point the finger and be like, well, Ricky, it's already factored in. It's already lost about 50% of its value. No. Timothy, let me bring you in here real quick. Nothing fundamentally was announced about the company that caused Tesla to skyrocket 100% in 47 days. Nothing. The reason it skyrocketed was it was a pump and dump. It was Elon being affiliated with Trump. Nothing fundamentally changed because it was actually before it began to skyrocket that Tesla actually was beginning to sell off from highs of 270 down to lows of 240. And I've made this very clear. Look at the dates, and it all comes down to November 5th when the winner was selected, the president-elect. But Tesla was actually selling off from highs of 270 to lows of 240 because when he talked about the Tesla cab, when he talked about that robo van, when he talked about the Optimus robot, it was the same fluff that everyone was tired of hearing. But then, and I live streamed it on my YouTube channel. I live streamed I forgot what it was called, the Tesla Cyber Roundup event. Regardless of what it was called, Tesla sold up. And I was kind of bummed because I was like, hey, that was kind of exciting. Nonetheless, no one cared. Markets began to retrace. Nothing new was announced. From that point to now, nothing new fundamentally was announced that was positive. I don't want to hear about the Optimus robot. I don't want to hear about the full autonomy that should have already been launched. Supposedly there's an autopilot that's going to be launched in Austin late May, early June. Where's that at, right? None of that. Oh, Ricky, but it's already factored in, and in that sell-off, that's why it's already factored in. No, it never belonged up here. It pumped up because people got ahead of themselves. They thought that there was some form of, special treatment that was going to happen with Elon and Trump because they were working together. But that would be a direct conflict of interest, right? So then it corrected itself just back to the same levels as before. So I always like to clear the air with that. I don't care about the pump. The pump is irrelevant because there is no fundamental reason on why Tesla was trading there. Fundamentally, year over year, with how Tesla is trading now and what it's producing versus last year, it's terrible. It is not growing as a company. How can you talk about Optimus Robot? It's more than just a car company. How can you talk about the full autonomy and the projections there when as a car company, its core business right now is failing? You're starting to sound like GameStop. You're starting to sound like hopes and dreams, right? There's nothing wrong with having projected value factored into the company. That's always been the case. But how many times are you going to sing the same song for us to excuse that, hey, how many times have we been fed this robo-taxi? How many times have we been fed the Optimus robot? How many times have we been told, oh, next quarter? Nothing has changed. If anything, year over year, it is showing that Tesla is not growing as a company. And if you actually pay attention to the earnings call, Elon said they didn't even want to give guidance for 2025 because they don't know how tariffs are going to play a role into their bottom line. That is terrible. That is uncertainty. But markets don't care right now, for at least in the short term. And that's the part that excites me because we all know that, again, like anytime that there is this form of uncertainty, the truth will always come out, right? Tesla's, in my opinion, crash is inevitable. Fundamentally, it's not doing well as a company. Oh, but Elon was announced to come back to Tesla. That was part of the plan. He was only supposed to spend 130 days, late May, early June. He was expected to come back. Nothing new there. It's like nothing new was announced. Nothing good was announced. Nothing with growth was announced. Yet Tesla, this is the part that I want to clear up. Tesla was flat. There's no excuse. It's just markets are desperate. Tesla is desperate. It doesn't want to sell off. And that's fine in the short term. And then Trump came for not just Elon's saving, but the entire market. Because it's not just Tesla that skyrocketed for no reason, 1 hour after the market closed. It wasn't just Tesla. It was the entire market. What was announced? I want to make this very clear. Because originally I was like, this is baloney. I thought it was because of Tesla's earnings call that Tesla began to skyrocket. And I was like, oh, no, that's not the case. It was that Trump plans to back off of the threat of the Federal Reserve, which is complete bullshit, right? Again, Trump has no control over firing Jerome Powell. He has no control over that. So him backing off on the threat is a baseless threat within itself. It's laughable, literally laughable. Nonetheless, okay, if markets want to rocket for that, who cares? And then he also talks about backing down when it comes down to the tariffs. Now, supposedly he's saying that, yes, the tariffs were really high, especially the ones that we put on China. They are unsustainable, and he plans to impose tariffs no higher than 145%. I think at one point we hit over 200%. He said, no, those are very high. We're working on something with China. There's progress being made, and we're not going to go higher than 145%. So I can see, because of that message, that yes, there's a little bit less uncertainty, hopefully some progress that is being done. But this is the part that bothers me. And it's just my opinion. And who cares if it bothers me, right? But I'm sure a lot of you guys would agree. There is nothing set in stone about the US and China working out a deal. He just takes it to Twitter, posts it so markets can react instantly. He's, I don't want to say manipulating the market, but he's influencing the market to either buy him some time for, I've never seen this done before, where just get shit done. Just get shit done and let your results talk, right? When the deal gets closed, or it's to my understanding, this meeting isn't even supposed to happen until mid to late May. Yet we're talking about a solution for China. Again, I think it really comes down to Trump. Something's going on now because Trump is backing down. Like, we have to call it for what it is. He's backing down. He's not being as aggressive. He's probably not seeing the results or the bending the knee that he thought most of these countries would show, especially not China. So he's seeing the impact that it's having in the market, the reaction from the people, and he's backing down. It's no art of the deal, right? Let's not make it more than what it is. It is hopefully progress, but there's no art of the deal. He's folding, because that's what it is, right? And hopefully it leads to a solution for the American people that's in the American people's best interest. And hopefully we can come out on this on top. But as of right now, there's one simple message that I love to remind our traders. One green day does not define a market recovery. Now, this is progress as long as the sentiment continues that yes, progress is happening and progress will continue to happen. But again, is the issue with the Federal Reserve and cutting rates in the month of May resolved? Probably not, right? There's a very low probability that the Federal Reserve is going to cut interest rates. When it comes down to this trade war, does it look like problems are solved? Definitely not. Hopefully, we're working towards it so then markets can begin to recover, or giving them the condition and environment for them to recover, but we're just not there yet. I just want to remind you of this as you get really excited that markets rip up. I want to remind you that we've ripped up many times before we sell off again. We rip up before we sell off. We rip up before we sell off. So there's nothing wrong with trading these pumps, but to ask yourself one simple question. Is it temporary? because a 2% push off of a tweet when nothing fundamentally has changed, in my opinion, is, again, a pump before a dump. True direction, true market sentiment, still bearish. Just my opinion. We'll see how the markets continue to develop, but I just wanted you guys to have an answer to the question you might be asking is Tesla really pushing because it reported terrible earnings? Well, no, it was flat when it reported terrible earnings. Then when this news got announced, it acted as a positive catalyst for the entire market. Tesla's not the only stock in the green. It's up about 4.7% during extended hours, while Nvidia is also up around 3 to 4%. So again, the entire market is up as a whole because of this tweet and this message that was shared by Trump. We'll see how it continues to hold. Again, when in doubt, never be afraid to cash out. I'm very excited to talk a little bit more about this and to see how markets open tomorrow. I hope to see you for our live trading session. Again, I'm always here to give you, hopefully as what you guys see, an unbiased approach. You guys know that I don't mind talking about the good, but I definitely don't mind talking about the bad. And I think it's really important as a trader to stay level-headed in this market full of chaos. Again, hope to see you for tomorrow's live trading session. Second link in the description down below. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.